Hi folks, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed and registered dietitian nutritionist and online nutrition coach. I specialize in sports nutrition, gut health, and prenatal nutrition. In today's video, we are talking about ARIIX, which is a nutrition-related MLM. We are going to briefly talk about the company and the brands within the company, and then we're going to watch a sales pitch video from a distributor from ARIIX. I was actually watching the recruiting video that we'll be going over, and throughout that video there were several times where this person just said a lot of words that we commonly hear in the field of nutrition, and especially within the multi-level marketing companies that are nutrition focused. So I started to keep track of it, and then I thought, how cool would it be to have this kind of bingo card that we can play alongside all of the deep dives from now on, and reactions, just overall, see if we get a bingo. If you want a copy, it is completely free. You don't have to give your email or anything. I'm going to try to link it to Dropbox and have it linked in the description box so that you can play at home. I think it's hilarious. I might be the only one who thinks that, but yeah. I figured we could use this going forward with videos that we talk about and just have fun with it. I also wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to Mark Ramos for sharing the sales video that we'll be going over, as well as some other concerning posts in their Facebook group. This video would not have been possible without him, so thank you so much, Mark. He was involved in this company before leaving it, and he has also made what he has referred to as cringy posts, but he's made up for it in my eyes and is actively involved in education about false claims and unethical business practices. I'll leave his Instagram linked down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's go. Everything in this video is 100% my opinion. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes. All of my sources will be linked down below in the description. ARIIX is an MLM company that recently merged with New Age beverage company. And they did this to make this kind of super MLM from what it seems like. I'll leave an article that talks about the merge. New Age agrees to combine with ARIIX and 4 additional e-commerce/direct selling companies to create a $500 million global enterprise. Basically, New Age Beverage Corporation, which is public, they have the NASDAQ information there, is the omni-channel Colorado-based healthy and organic products company. They announced that it had entered a definitive agreement to acquire ARIIX together with 4 additional companies in the direct selling channels. The combination will create a global firm with estimated pro forma revenues in excess of $500 million across 80 countries worldwide. New Age and ARIIX have agreed to create a leading health and wellness firm with a unique omni-channel route to market. And it looks like they currently have a team overall more than 400,000 independent representatives. And so the different companies that are being combined include New Age, which is one of the fastest growing beverage companies worldwide in over 60 countries. And then there is ARIIX, which is one of the fastest growing direct selling companies, and it's in over 35 countries. There is Noah, which was established in 2016, and its largest presence is in Japan, and it is a superfood based dietary supplements, beverages, and fermented foods. And then there's Limu, which is a global leader in fucoidian-rich seaweed-based nutritional products and beverages, proprietary super nutrient. There's also Mavi, which is a DNA mapping and wellness company with predictive genomic sequencing and a range of nutritional products customized to the individual's DNA makeup. And then there is Shannon, which is an award-winning Indonesian skincare and beauty company founded in 2018. All of that being said, I just wanted to read that out because this sounds like a huge MLM, the larger company and all of the smaller ones within there. And we'll talk about it, but ARIIX actually has multiple brands within it too. So it's really wild how they're all just like together. That was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, because I think it will begin to grow, especially in the United States within the next few months, couple years, I'm not sure, but the fact that they just did this whole merger and that there's a lot of people within those. I just feel like it's something to be aware of. And so the more that we can kind of get on the forefront and start educating people about it, the better. So just looking at ARIIX, they actually have 6 brands underneath that umbrella. And as I was information gathering for this video, I found that they kind of acquired those different brands throughout the years as far as what I could find. Currently on their official website, they have Limu, which we kind of talked about, that has some protein shakes and energy drinks with seaweed. There's also Lucin, which is a skincare line. There's Nutrify, which houses most of their nutrition supplements that we'll be talking about. And there is Prime, which is their essential oils. Of course, they have to have essential oils. There is Purity, which is water filtration. And there is Revive for personal care products, body wash, toothpaste, all of that. And then there is Slenderize, which is their weight loss program. We'll hit on some of the products as we watch the sales video, but I'm not going to dive into all of them and all of the ingredients. There are so many products, and I think that would be a pretty boring video. At least it would be very long, much longer than we're already going to be here today. And I might do that kind of more down the line or break it up, but right now I just wanted to get this information out. As far as this video goes, I wanted to put something together that was a little bit, it's funny because it's going to be a long video, but that was a little bit quicker, as some people have requested in previous videos of me going through different companies' products. Nutrify and Slenderize are going to be the main ARIIX brands that we'll be focusing on. Slenderize includes SlenderX, which, as we'll hear it called, some people refer to it as liquid discipline, appetite suppressant. There is Accelerate, there is Giving Greens, protein shake, branched chain amino acids, and their weight loss program. I know there will be a comment how I am biased when looking at this information, and that I'm going to give it a bad review just because it is an MLM, and that you might think that I should just stick to nutrition and health. Well, you're partially correct. I am not a fan of the MLM business structure. When I was active, I did not do my due diligence of actually looking at reputable places like the FTC and seeing what was on their official website. I had never heard anything negative about MLMs growing up. Like, I had heard of Avon, but it was just, there was nothing like negative about it that I had heard of. I didn't know how the structure like worked and how it was just, there's so many flaws within it. I wasn't educated about it ever, and so that's partially why I make these videos, because I hope that there will be people who didn't know anything about the business structure of it, who was involved in it, and then realized like, oh, we need to talk about this more. There needs to be more education about it. I'm not here to bash anyone, and at the same time, we need to remember that health is more than just what you eat and how you move. It includes the social determinants of health, and it includes, even in the definition that I always talk about, you might have it memorized now, but health is that physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. And all of those fall within the larger social determinants of health and the political determinants of health. So if something is helping that physical side, but it's harming any of those other areas, then it's not really fitting into that definition of health. And as we'll see, spoiler alert, their diet plan is flawed, in my opinion, just as much as the business structure is flawed, in my opinion. If you're not here for the whole video and you want to skip the cringy sales video that we'll be watching, I understand. Long story short, if you can afford the products, you can afford getting the benefits from the products, what they may provide from actual high quality foods you can find in a grocery store, and a plan that is sustainable. That is my opinion based off work that I have done. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this video right after this short break. As I'm pulling this up, I do want to say, before anyone calls me a hater or anything, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Something that I really do appreciate about ARIIX, and that is that they have some third-party tested products with their nutrition-related products, at least. I really know nothing about the other kind of products, like the skincare, the water filtration, all of those other things. That is not my area of expertise. But for the nutrition products, I really do appreciate that they have have the Informed Choice Sport, which covers their pretty much their whole Nutrify brand. And then they also have Consumer Labs that covers them as well. And then also NSF. Now, remember that those third-party companies, they don't test for like efficacy. They don't test if something actually like works. That's not their job. Their job is to test to make sure that everything on the label is actually in the product and that there aren't any contaminants, there aren't any fillers, things of that nature. Basically, you're paying for that certification to say that everything on the label is actually what you're getting, but not really like if anyone has any claims about it that it'll do what they're saying it does. To me, that is like a bare minimum that should be required across the board when looking at the supplement industry, in my opinion, but it's something that you do have to pay for if you are creating or making supplements. This video is already pretty long and we need to get to the actual sales call, but I also wanted to briefly share some concerning posts in the Facebook group that I was able to get. Thanks again to Mark. Basically, I'm concerned that distributors who see these kind of posts will use people who suffer from the things listed in these pictures, including insomnia, digestion difficulties, osteoporosis, cardiovascular health issues, cancer, fertility issues, blood sugar issues, high triglycerides, thyroid issues, etc. I'm concerned that distributors will see people who post about those kind of things that they're experiencing, and they will then go ahead and DM them and recommend them specific products. Just having a product recommendations sheet is highly concerning to me, because even with the disclaimer, that won't stop people from using the rest of the picture. Like, you can't just be like, always check with your healthcare provider, but I recommend this for your thyroid health or this for your insulin and blood sugar issues. Even I can't do that in some states, and I have to apply for licensure before practicing medical nutrition therapy. This goes beyond making recommendations for general health. This is how we start to see distributors going into specific support groups on Facebook and such, with the intention of recommending specific MLM products. On a lighter note, there were so many other posts with nutrition and food information that seemed like they just got played through a game of telephone. I thought this one was particularly funny, saying sausage is made from anus meat. When I saw that, I immediately knew what they were referring to. So there is a cut of pork that's called butt, but it's not actually from the butt area. That specific cut is used often in sausage. Can you imagine the amount of resources we'd need if we only used the anus for making them? That is like the least efficient area to get it from, and it would cost more because there's less available to work with than the actual cut that's referred to as butt. So if that tells you anything about the quality of information, like, that's all I have to say. All right, so let's get into this video now. Everybody will be blurred out. The goal of this, remember, always bringing it back to that foundation. Many people are brought into MLM at a very vulnerable place in their life. I have not experienced anybody ever joining one when their life was going great, when they had great amount of money and great amount of health. Like, it is always a rough spot when they join. So because of that, everybody is blurred. If you know any of these people, please don't attack them or anything. Y'all are good. They're human. It sucks, but let's go.
Thank you for joining me today. Ever felt like you're just losing control of your body? Maybe you've been scared to look at the scale, felt tired after a day of work and getting to be fully present with your family, or you just had those annoying migraines and allergies that ruin your day. I'm excited to share something that's transformed not only my personal health, but thousands of others. You might be thinking this is just another hypey sales pitch, or I've tried a lot of other programs that didn't work. What makes this any different? Let me share with you some real results from real people. Full disclaimer, none of these products are meant to diagnose, treat, or prevent any diseases, but
we love a disclaimer followed by a
but with the support of this program and a lifestyle change, these people have absolutely transformed their lives. Take a look at my friend who had been an overweight her entire life, always hid behind the camera, was suffering from chronic pain, sleep apnea, and high blood pressure. After just 4 months on this program, she not only lost 81 pounds, lowered her blood pressure medications, and has the energy to work out every day. She now loves taking photos of herself. or maybe in shoes, working a stressful job, long hours, on asthma medications, and depending on smoking as a stress reliever. In just 1 month, he was able to drop not only 27 pounds, eliminated his asthma medication, but also quit smoking.
Right. So losing 81 pounds in 4 months or 27 pounds in 1 month, that's not a healthy rate. That is not what is recommended. Generally, that much weight change in that amount of time increases your risk of certain deficiencies or puts you at a higher risk for that. Also, metabolism damage, where to get or to stay at that range or that spot, you have to maintain that level of intake, which, as we will see, is very, very low and just not sustainable. They do go on and share a couple other people's experiences, their positive experiences, just more anecdotal information, which there is a time and place for that, but we've already got some. I'm going to skip ahead to help this video go a little bit faster.
These are only a few of the thousands of transformations we've seen on this program. Our goal is to share with you what they did. Now, before I move on, I want to do a quick self-assessment with you. My goal by the end of this video is to equip you with the knowledge and tools to get you from a 3 to a 5 or maybe a 7 to a 9. Where would you rate yourself in some of these categories? Maybe we're trying to get rid of the stubborn belly fat. Maybe we want to avoid that third cup of coffee by mid-afternoon. Perhaps the stress level from work and family is causing anxiety and restless sleep. Or is that we seem to get sick all the time? Or perhaps just not having bloating and stomach discomfort after a meal would be a dream come true.
I wanted to share really quick about what he was talking about with the stubborn belly fat. So remember that it is okay to, like, the whole goal is to do actions that support your health. What I mean by that are actions that support physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. And if you're able to do that consistently, your weight will be at a place that is appropriate for you. And that might include some stubborn belly fat. If you're doing actions that are supporting your health overall and your lab values are coming back and things are looking great, you're feeling good, then instead of focusing on that stubborn belly fat, like, let's focus on actions that really make us feel good, that support our physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being, and not so much focusing on that stubborn belly fat, because there is a range. The body fat percentage is a range. You don't have to be at 18% if you're a woman, or 10%, 8% if you're a man. Like, that is an aesthetic that for a lot of people is just not sustainable. And depending on what the program is, you might find that you're putting more stress on your body trying to achieve that specific body fat percentage or get rid of that stubborn fat. Like, I just want to focus on the actions that support our health. Say, we're here to focus on true health, not aesthetics and outdated information. Of course, anybody can do, what they want. Like, if you want to do that, cool, but you don't have to have health. That's what I'm trying to say.
I was probably a 1 or 2 on this health spectrum. Growing up, my favorite vegetables were potatoes and tomatoes, but only in the form of French fries and ketchup. At one point, I was proud that I was able to eat 4 Big Macs in one sitting, back when it was on the dollar menu days. I was overweight, made fun of, and had extremely low self-confidence. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware enough to know that this inevitably led to bad health.
If you are being made fun of and have a low self-confidence, like, that is not you. That is a result of, like, other people and just actual fat phobia and how people are treated better depending on their appearance. Like, privilege, it exists. So that is not related to this, really. I can see how it's part of the story, but just because somebody's in that state, that doesn't mean that they have to have bullying happen and low self-confidence. Like, that is a world issue. That is not that person's issue.
As I grew older and learned more about health, I opted in for the salads instead of junk food. Exercised 5 times a week, even bought some supplements and protein shakes from Costco. I lost some weight, but found it difficult to keep up with the lifestyle as life got busier. You may be able to relate with me on this, but I would eat clean for 5 days of the week and 1 week of enjoying life would get me back to square one. I found myself at a plateau, couldn't get to the.
That is a side effect of dieting. Like if you are having this 5 days of very intense, like clean eating on this plan, yeah, you're going to experience, most people are going to experience that restriction binge cycle. That is normal. That is your body, your brain trying to protect itself. We don't have to do that. And the answer, if you experience that, is not joining an MLM.
Next levels of my health goals. Until I met a health mentor, and she challenged me with this statement: just because something's normal doesn't mean it's natural.
I'm sorry, I keep pausing this. Just because something is normal doesn't mean it's natural. Yeah, of course, just because something is normal doesn't mean it's natural. Like, just take flying on an airplane, because I don't know if you heard, but one was flying over a little bit ago. A normal experience when you're flying is to get from point A to point B safely. Like, there are accidents and tragedies. Majority of time, though, what is normal in the flying experience is going from point A to point B safely. That is not natural. Yeah, of course, normal doesn't mean it's natural. They are not the same word. And just because something is natural, also, like, this is not what they're saying, but just because something is natural doesn't make it healthy, right? Like, there are plenty of plants that we should not eat that are poisonous. So, yeah.
Some of us are so used to the chronic pain we've been experiencing for years, the seasonal allergies, constant migraines, overall fatigue, perhaps cancer, blood pressure, and diabetes run in the family, and we've accepted that that's just how life is. What's normal in America is over 70% of our weight and 40% are obese. 2/3 of all adults are on at least one prescription med drug. 72% of us report feeling sleepy multiple times out of the week.
72% of Americans report feeling sleepy multiple times throughout the week. So yeah, I feel sleepy at like 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m. Like, that is the time that I need to go to bed. So I guess he meant multiple times, like during the day. Like, I get what he's trying to say. But the bigger point is that a lot of the reasons why this is happening is not just because, or not a reflection of just diet and exercise. Like, that is such a cheap cop out of like, you just need to eat well and move well and all of these things will be fine. No, that is why there is such a thing as the social determinants of health that public health talks about. That is even why in one of my recent videos I showed that video about the political determinants of health. Like, we cannot talk about these things if we're just talking about the diet and exercise aspect, because what happens when we do that, it is victim blaming. And even if that doesn't bother you, it's just not productive, because until we have those other things taken care of, this is still going to happen. This is still going to be an issue. And diet and exercise, as much as I love to eat in a very nutrient dense way, that's what my entire like experience of career is. I've been in the industry for over a decade. I have been practicing, this year will be 6 years, so it's not even like super long compared to some other people I know, but just in the industry overall. And I don't want anybody to take that as like a appeal to authority or anything. What I'm trying to say by that is health is so much more than what we eat and how we move. And the more that we can move away from that narrative, the better everyone will end up being, because those issues are multifaceted, and to reduce them down to something so simplistic is not helping the larger community. If you want to talk about the role that nutrition plays, cool, let's talk about that. But let's also talk about how privilege and how the social determinants of health can even play a bigger role.
When my mentor shared with me this holistic approach of health, we're not just reducing calories and exercising more, but we're healing the gut, balancing the hormones.
So his holistic approach is still within nutrition, right? As a nutrition practitioner, you're going to think about that whole picture that is in there. Like, that to me is not a holistic approach. That is just practicing nutrition, right? Holistic approach, I mean, I guess you could hone in more so on a smaller scale holistic approach, but if you have a nutrition professional, they're going to be taking all of that into consideration already. Like, that holistic approach, I would not consider that really holistic. That is what is taken into account for basic nutrition practicing.
Rebooting the metabolism. Our bodies can perform at the optimal level and heal itself.
Got a bingo square thingy right there.
And this is where I am now. After being on this program for 40 days, not only did I lose 25 pounds and got a six-pack, but more importantly, can now enjoy life while having control of my body. So why does this work? Because it's clinically proven, backed by science. A double-blind placebo-controlled study on this program showed that people lost 50% more weight than those who dieted alone, with increased energy and even better mood.
Let's talk about that study really quick. Clinically proven sounds fancy. It sounds like cutting edge, but it is a term that is so vague, and it can be used to kind of make it sound better than it really is. This study, it had 23 individuals, which is not what we're looking for. That's not what we're looking for when we want high quality evidence of something. That is not anything to really be excited about. 23 people. It's 3 men and 20 women. It says 3 men and 20 females. It should say either 3 males and 20 females or 3 men and 20 women, not 3 men and 20 females, but that's a whole nother issue. So they were ranging in age from 21 to 75, and they were selected on the basis of commitment to completing the 12-week course. So another red flag. This study was only for 12 weeks. Which is not a long time. Subjects were required to maintain compliance for 12 weeks with a specified nutritionally dense diet, appropriate supplementation, adequate fluid intake, simple exercise, and detoxification and stress management techniques, including keeping a food journal, exercise, personal contact, accountability, and counsel. Subjects were given a 1,250 calorie, low glycemic, low starch, functional food meal plan that included a minimum amounts of healthy fats from coconut oil, avocados, raw sprouted nuts, and cold pressed oils. 30% or less of their calories were coming from fat, so minimum of 300 calories of the 1,250 allowable calories. That is an extremely low amount of calories. I would not be able to be on this program in this study unless I was like laying in bed the whole day. I can't imagine eating that little, but that is my own personal intake. Getting back to this, I'll put up a picture of what the food choices that they had that were available. Not a whole lot of options here, right? Like, a lot of these I eat on a regular basis. Like, I could make some awesome tasting meals with this, but only those for 12 weeks? Yikes. This is really where I just kind of lost it, because subjects were required to participate in an exercise program. I don't think they would be allowed to have more calories. Like, it's not saying this, so that must have not been fun. The subjects were stratified randomly into 4 groups. The control group, in my opinion, should have just been on the diet, but they were taking 2 supplements, the Pure Nourish and the Nutrify vitamins. Of the initial 23 subjects, so we're already starting pretty low, 19 completed the program, and so all of the results are based off 19 people. You can see the average weight loss per day. Group D was the one who had all of the supplements and the diet. Their average was less than Group A, which Group A was just 3 of the supplements versus 4 of the supplements. So to me, that is saying that we just need more information. Like, we need a larger quantity of people in this study. And I think this study should not be redone just because of how low the calories are. In my opinion, I would feel like this would be unethical. This study would not make me feel confident to bring it up on a sales Zoom call. It's just interesting how this person was just kind of hyping it up when it's not really hypeable. Let me know in the comments if this study makes you want to try these supplements. Is it compelling enough to try these supplements, these products? Not for me, but I want to know your opinion.
The Attorney General of New York did a study in 2015 which revealed that 80% of supplements found at stores like GNC, Walmart, Walgreens, and Costco didn't even have what was stated on the label in the bottle.
That is a very legitimate thing. That's why there are those third-party tests. That is a completely separate issue, but yes, labeling can be problematic.
This program incorporates the following 5 components in an easy-to-use daily system that targets the body as a whole: detoxification, proper macronutrients, food is medicine, micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, energy, and community. Let's run through these real quick. Toxins are all around us: the air we breathe, the foods that we eat, and the water that we drink. Although our body will try its best to detox, the constant exposure to these toxins places a heavy burden in our body, causes inflammation, heavy metal poisoning, grogginess, and weight loss plateaus, just to name a few. To address detoxing, we have the Power Couple and the SlenderX and Accelerate Drops and the RestoreX. Let's be honest, we probably know it's better to pick up the salad instead of the burger, but have you ever tried to force yourself to make these changes and failed? Have you felt like your metabolism just wasn't the same as your younger years?
If you're failing because you're choosing the salad over the burger, like maybe make that salad a little bit more energy dense, add some protein to it, make sure you're getting a good amount of healthy fat to it, because if you just have a burger, the option of a burger or a salad, like depending on what's on that salad, yeah, sometimes you might fail because that salad is not sustaining you enough. And so in some cases, having that burger might give your body what it actually needs in that time, the amount of carbohydrates and the proteins and even the fats in there. So it just really depends on the actual salad if you kind of find yourself falling off or like not succeeding, as he was mentioning.
So we call SlenderX liquid discipline. All right. Because instead of using willpower to change our eating habits, this helps to lower those cravings.
You shouldn't need to use willpower to change your eating habits. There's no need for that.
I noticed that instead of craving chocolate, I'm a huge chocoholic, by the way, I ended up craving carrots. SlenderX and Accelerate are a homeopathic natural formula that help to curb the cravings and target the stubborn fat, like those love handles under the arms, around the thighs, and the fat around our organs. It also supports the thyroid and balances our hormones. Imagine if you had bad Wi-Fi signal or bad cell signal before, and then all of a sudden you got better signal. That's exactly what SlenderX does for the body. The ingredients in these drops help the body to establish better communication with each other so your body can function at its optimal levels. Accelerate is a vitamin B12, biotin, and adaptogenic herb complex that helps with anti-stress, metabolism reboot, and energy. Super simple to use. Just squeeze the pump, drop them under your tongue, hold it for 10 seconds, then swallow. Now, I know it might seem a little weird at first, but it helps with absorption. And no worries, it doesn't taste like cough syrup. It's actually a little sweet. The second part of this detox duo is RestoreX. If you've ever experienced brain fog or heard of someone hitting a weight loss plateau, it's likely due to toxins.
What I have found is that most of the time, brain fog is related to food sensitivities, and we can get rid of that with dealing with food sensitivities more so than detox, because if we are having the appropriate amount of water and we're getting a good amount of sleep, we're getting in nutrient dense foods, our bodies will do detoxification.
To prevent toxins from freely flowing in the bloodstream and getting us sick, the body stores them in fat cells. Fat rich areas like the brain with too many toxins can lead to brain fog. Also, the body will hold on to the fat so the toxins don't go into the bloodstream, leading to fat loss plateaus. RestoreX is our detox center in a bottle. It's a combination of activated charcoal, chlorella, and a double patterned form of zeolite. Zeolite is a volcanic rock that acts like a magnet. It absorbs the heavy metal toxins like mercury and lead, cleanses the body, helps with mental clarity, fat loss plateaus, even curbing the cravings from withdrawals from changing our diet. Remember Russell from earlier? He noticed his cravings for smoking were gone after using this detox and is no longer a smoker. All you do,
There's a reason why cravings happen. There could be for a variety of reasons, but to just put a blanket, like even for myself, whenever I talk about food cravings, there's so many different reasons why that could be happening. And so whenever somebody has this kind of product to say that it cures cravings or anything, I'm always, that's a red flag, because there's so many reasons why you can have cravings psychologically or physically. One product can't do that, for cravings across the board. And he's not saying that it's across the board and like 100% of cravings, but it's just kind of coming across that way. If I didn't know all of the different reasons why cravings can happen, I might think that mine would be fixed through this. And sometimes cravings can be because of psychological reasons. And so there might be that more placebo effect where you could do another psychological thing instead that costs way less or even nothing other than like time and energy.
is take 1 scoop of this with some water each day. And don't worry, this isn't a colon cleanse, so you won't be going to the bathroom 5 times a day. The second component of this program are the macronutrients or food. Food is medicine, we all know, but have you ever been confused as to what healthy and balanced actually means? Maybe felt deprived from being on a diet and a lifestyle just wasn't sustainable. We're going to show you how to give your body more of what it needs and less of what it doesn't, and develop an anti-inflammatory lifestyle to boost up your body's natural immune functions, to melt out the fat and boost up your energy level in a way where you're never going to starve, but you'll love. We're going to help you to replace the bad sugars, starches, and vegetable oils, which are all highly inflammatory to the body, with nutrient-dense foods, clean proteins, which are needed to make healthy new cells in the body, healthy fats, which are needed for every single hormone in the body, healthy brain and heart function, and the right fresh carbs for your proper energy.
On the approved food list, there are foods on there that aren't like fresh. And we'll get to that approved list, but things like chickpeas, quinoa, lentils, those typically aren't fresh. You can have quinoa and lentils in your pantry for a very long time. They're not fresh, which is okay. That doesn't take away its nutrition. It's just interesting. Maybe that's just me.
Right in the middle of the ARIIX manual is what's called the approved food list. Now, you might be scared already of another diet and all the restrictions that come with it. What I love is on this program, you can have foods like ribeye steak, loco mocos, lobster, and so much more.
Okay, so like with the loco moco, I know that is a Hawaiian cuisine. I am not of that culture, and so I don't want to speak for that culture. What I found was that it's typically served, one of the main ingredients is rice, which is not on the approved food list. So if you are of that culture and you want to share, can you have like riceless loco moco, or would that be considered like a diet food? Because he's saying that you don't have to like go on this diet, you don't have to have this restriction, but the list has rice listed as one of the foods to avoid. So let me know that if you are part of that culture.
Oh, and for our vegan, vegetarian friends, we got you covered too. There's no starving on our watch. In fact, the number one complaint that our clients have is they're eating too much and they're so full. Now, am I saying that you're not going to have another burger or cocktail in your life? Of course not. But when you start to shift your lifestyle, you're going to feel so good that you won't want the cheat meals as much. I'm also a believer of the 80-20 rule, and we'll show you how to develop a healthy, balanced lifestyle where you can have your cake and eat it too. Now, perhaps you're a busy working professional, you can't cook all the time, or you don't have access to clean food conveniently, or maybe you're just looking for healthy ways to spice up your cooking and baking. That's where shakes come in. Unlike most of the shakes in the market that are filled with chemical preservatives, extra sugar, just taste fake. The Pure Nourish Natural is a GMO-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free meal replacement that's naturally sweetened with xylitol. It's less than 1 gram of sugar, so it's diabetic friendly and won't spike your blood insulin. It comes with 18 grams of vegan-friendly proteins that are easily digestible and a gut health boosting combination of probiotics, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes, all in a tasty, creamy shake. You just mix 2 scoops of this with 8 to 10 ounces of water, your favorite base like almond milk or coconut milk in a blender bottle. And you got yourself a healthy, delicious meal in 30 seconds. For the bakers out there,
let's see the nutrition label, because he just said to just mix it with the almond milk or coconut milk and you have yourself a healthy meal. It has 2.5 grams of fat, which is generally not what I would consider an amount for a meal. There's 18 grams of protein, 1.9 grams of carbs, depending on the kind of almond milk or coconut milk. The carbs and the fat can change, but that is not what I would consider or recommend for a meal replacement.
this makes for a great alternative for pancake, desserts, or cake mixes. We've got the recipes in our community group you wouldn't believe. Next up, we've got one of my favorites, the Power Boost. For those chocoholics out there, you're going to love this because it tastes like melted dark chocolate ice cream. Or if you're looking for a guilt-free dessert idea to add into your cookie or cake mixes, this is the answer. The Power Boost has branched-chain amino acids to support your muscle recovery and growth. It also contains medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs, which are the fats you may have heard about in coconut oil that gets automatically converted to energy in your body instead of being stored as fat. Now, just take 1 scoop of this and mix it with the Pure Nourish, or you can have it by yourself and you've got yourself a chocolate fix satisfied. Lastly, the Giving Greens will be your gut's best friend. Did you know that only a little more than 3% of Americans are meeting the recommended fiber intake? Yeah, so in 2 small scoops, you have the equivalent of 2 pounds worth of 20 plus vegetables like spinach, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, a superfood blend of blueberries and acai berry, sprouted seed blends, and an extra digestive enzyme blend for better gut health. The best part,
most people don't have deficiencies in the kinds of digestive enzymes that are added to products such as this. I work in the field of gut health for a lot of people, and digestive enzymes typically aren't what we see as needed or a reason why someone might have gastric discomfort and issues around that. Sometimes having greens can be very helpful depending on the day or the week and everything that's going on. You know, it can really help to improve one's overall nutrient intake. It's not necessary though. I don't want anybody to feel like, 1, they need it, but also 2, that getting in vegetables, getting in produce is a challenge as some people make it out to be. And at the same time, also recognizing that when living in something like a food desert or depending on income, getting in that produce can be a very big challenge. Y'all, I don't know about you, but I need a break. Let's regroup after this short break.
it actually doesn't taste like veggies, but more like matcha green tea. No longer do you have to worry about rotting vegetables in your fridge. You can add all of these together in 1 power shake for a meal or a snack, or you can take them standalone or use them in your baking mixes. These are awesome tools to support healthy daily eating habits. Now we get to talk about the sexiest part of the program, our micronutrition, the vitamins and minerals. Oh yeah. We want to help give our bodies 35 trillion cells 6-packs.
Let's pause really quick to enjoy Loki and his cuteness. Hey baby, you just woke up? You just wake up? You smell good. Whoop. Where are you going?
Percent micronutrient depleted. We're not getting the
I'm gonna pull that back because I could not concentrate. Sorry.
Of course, we can get our vitamins and minerals from our fruits and veggies, but because our farmland is 85% micronutrient depleted, we're not getting the nutrition we used to. Did you know, compared to 50 years ago, all right, carrots are down 39% in iron. And watermelons, my favorite, are actually down 69% in riboflavin. That's why 86% of Americans are taking supplements to fill the nutritional gap.
So, okay, I know what he's referencing. I don't know if he knows it, but I know what he's referencing because this is something that is not just I've heard from him. I've heard this from multiple different MLM companies. It's always the same kind of presentation, what I've been seeing. Okay, so this is what he's been referencing because this is fear-mongering. In 2004, there's a study by Davis. It was called Changes in USDA Food Composition Data for 43 Garden Crops, 1950 to 1999. And it is in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. So a 2004 study comparing the nutrient content of 43 garden crops found a decline between 1950 and the early 2000s, or 1999, rounding it. 6 nutrients showed a reduction with a median of 6%. These are protein, calcium, potassium, iron, riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, and ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. For other nutrients, no statistically significant changes in values were measured. However, in that study's conclusion, they suggested that any real declines are most easily explained by changes in cultivated varieties between 1950 and 1999, in which there may be trade-offs between yield and nutrient content. So that kind of explains what is going on with that when you hear people talk about the declines. But further, for more context of the claim, this is from fruitsandveggies.org. They say that furthermore, plants can easily be bred for higher nutrition if that were a need. One can argue that while old versus new data may show nutritional composition differences, it likely isn't nutritionally significant. For example, whether a half cup of peppers contains more than the current 140 milligrams vitamin C isn't really that important when only 75 to 90 milligrams per day is needed by the body in the first place. Seed breeders today have to balance already very nutritious fruits and vegetables with other factors that are important to consumers, like improved plant disease resistance, so less use of pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides, increased plant productivity, resulting in less expensive food, increased plant stress tolerance to manage changes in climate, ultimately resulting in less expensive food. More attractive fruit and vegetables to increase the desire to eat them is also a thing. Better shelf life so it doesn't spoil as fast in the fridge at home, resulting in less waste, which food waste is a very big deal, especially in this country, and ultimately less expensive food or better flavor, which increases the desire to eat more and get the nutrients from the produce. Overall, ultimately, not eating enough of already very nutritious fruits and vegetables is much more of a problem than any minor changes in nutritional composition that may or may not have occurred over time. So let me know if this argument that he was mentioning is something that you've heard from other MLM companies talk about, because I know for a fact that this argument is used by other ones. I've heard it, and yeah, it is fear-mongering. We don't need any more fear-mongering in nutrition.
Now, why don't I just buy a supplement from the local supermarket? Maybe your family's like mine, where we toss in one of those big jugs of Costco vitamins to make ourselves feel better. Or perhaps you took it a step further and you went to your Whole Foods or did an Amazon search and got the best vitamins out there. Most supplements on the market today are based on what's called the recommended dietary allowance, the RDA, which were set back in the 1940s, where if you got 100% of that level, it would prevent you from getting disease like scurvy or rickets.
Does he really think that we haven't updated the information since the 1940s? And yes, that is the point. Nobody is out here saying that those are the optimal levels that we want to have. At least, I mean, maybe some people are saying that, but if you are a nutrition practitioner, you're not saying that. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Like, why is he talking about these if he's saying things like RDAs don't mean optimal? Like, yeah, that's the point. That is in the definition of RDAs. The RDAs are done by the Institute of Medicine, which I always say the Institute of Medicine. Technically, they're now called the National Academy of Medicine. I always get that wrong. It is an American nonprofit, non-governmental organization. They provide national and international advice on issues relating to health, medicine, health policy, and biomedical science. It aims to provide unbiased, evidence-based, and authoritative information and advice concerning health and science policy to policymakers, professionals, leaders in every sector of society, and the public at large. Operating outside the framework of the U.S. federal government, it relies on volunteer workforce of scientists and other experts operating under a formal peer review system. That is how the RDAs are created. That is not the same thing as the dietary guidelines or the DGAs that they were just updated. They're updated every 5 years, but it takes those into consideration. So it's lots of different people working so that we don't have issues related to, like, it's lots of different people working kind of together so that it can remain as unbiased and as we can have it. RDAs are an average daily level of intake sufficient to meet the nutritional requirements of nearly all, so 97 to 98% of healthy people. No one out here is saying optimum. Also, there are tolerable upper level intake levels. That is the maximum amount of intake unlikely to cause any adverse effects, adverse symptoms or side effects or anything of that nature, or, health related. And the ODA that he's talking about, like, that is the max amount for vitamin C. I got ahead of myself, but that's what he's about to say regarding vitamin C.
Now, unless you're a pirate, you probably aren't concerned about those issues. What we're more concerned about today are degenerative illnesses like diabetes, cancer, heart disease, or having more energy, better cognitive function, and strengthened immune systems. That's why the medical literature is now pointing to the optimal daily allowance, or ODA, which are levels of nutrition that are necessary to address those concerns. For example, RDA levels for vitamin C are 60 milligrams, while ODA levels are 2,000 milligrams. To show you a visual, you can try a simple at-home experiment. When I first saw this, I didn't believe it, so I even tried it myself. And warning, this may freak out your family. When we cut open an apple and leave it out on the counter, what happens? It rots, turns brown and oxidizes, right? Our cells go through this very same oxidation process. If they're not protected by antioxidants, they rot faster and lead to bad health. In this experiment, we placed a cut open apple in vitamin solutions of some of the big brands out there, like Centrum, One A Day, Kirkland. Perhaps some of these are in your cabinets now, like I used to have. The big three brands go by the RDA levels. The left two brands go by the ODA levels.
So remember, the ODA level, that is a tolerable upper level intake, specifically for that vitamin C. I'm mentioning that because that's what he mentioned. So those ones are getting that tolerable upper amount.
The first one is our leading competitor, and the second one is ours. But we're 30% cheaper because we believe in premium quality without the premium price.
Remember that for later. He said we believe in premium quality without the premium price. So remember that.
We left apples in these jars, including water for control, for 2 days. And this is what happens to the apples. Yeah, the big three brands from burnt toast. If you take a look at the brands based on the ODA standard, the apple looks like you could still eat it. That's why I tell people that they don't even need to use our brand, but I'd at least consider not taking those other brands because they may be doing more harm.
No, him saying that is not appropriate because Centrum is not out here trying to take place of 100% of your nutrient needs. Multivitamins in general should not provide you with 100% of your daily nutrient needs. That's not the goal of multivitamins. They are not meant for us to survive off them. They are meant to supplement the diet of food, of intake of actual food. We do not need 100% of the tolerable upper level intake amount of vitamin C when we're also consuming regular food. We're consuming food. We don't need to get 100% of it in our multivitamin because we eat. Why is he out here recommending this when there is no need for that? Like, on paper, it sounds great. Like, yeah, I would recommend you to get the optimum level without realizing that that is not the goal of micronutrients, like in supplement form. That is not the goal of multivitamins. That is not how professional nutrition practitioners approach things like this. And this is why, sir, I do not appreciate you coming out here and telling people who aren't aware of those things and giving them this kind of misinformation and saying, I don't know about you, but this is what I'm not telling you, to buy my product, but at least don't buy those. Like, why? Can you give me a reason other than it made your apple go brown? Even with that being said, like, you are not just you're not having a science project just around vitamin C, because there is so much more in those. Like, you can't take out the vitamin C out of those and then test it. Like, you are testing so many other variables in there. So if I was a science teacher and if you gave me this as your science project, I would have some issues with it, because you're not controlling for the other variables. I'm getting heated, y'all. Okay, let's just go back.
Harm than good. If you're considering nutritional support, why would I choose these? The Optimals, our multivitamins, are one of the few nutritional supplements that were at high enough levels that made the cut to be featured in what's called the Physician's Desk Reference, which is a book of medicine that doctors use to prescribe medication. Unlike many other vitamins on the market, the Optimals are a whole food blend, meaning they come from actual fruits and vegetables rather than a synthetic source.
I would say that's getting pretty normal. You can see more of that in the supplement industry. I'm really surprised that he mentioned that, because on the label of the multivitamin Optimal V, it says folate, and it has in parentheses folic acid, which is a synthetic form of that. And so it's interesting that he was talking about how much it is like food-based, when here is an example of a food-based folate. It is not folic acid, it is folate, and it is from lemon peel. The folate is extracted from the lemon peel. And so the fact that his plant-based multivitamin doesn't have that, like, it is still synthetic. And that's not to say that we can't have that folic acid, right? Like, that has helped many people. But if you're going to say that it's not synthetic and that it's coming from food, then make that make sense.
They come in a capsule form, not a tablet form, like those big horse pills you may see in other brands. So you can actually digest them. One stat: did you know that you can find undigested vitamin tablets in the sewage system? Yeah, why put something in your body if it just ends up coming out the other end, you know? And finally, you probably know that fish oil is important for the body to have. The anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids help with brain function, heart function, can lower bad cholesterol, and burn fat in the body. However, have you ever checked to see where your fish oil actually comes from? Unlike most of the brands that source fish oil from big ocean fish like tuna, which contains much higher levels of heavy metal contaminants like mercury, this company sources fish oil from small fish like sardines and anchovies from the most pristine waters of South America.
I'll put up a picture of the omega-3 supplement that we have in this house. There are so many great options out there, but this one is one that I purchased quite a few times.
Omega Q also has what's called coenzyme Q10 in it, which is a nutrient essential for cellular energy in the body. Just take the daily suggested amount of Optimals and Omega Q. You've got yourself a premium grade nutritional insurance policy. If we insure our cars, homes, even jewelry, I mean, shouldn't we insure our own bodies?
If you're going to insure your body, then go through an insurance agent. I'm not sure how that works, because you aren't going to get any kind of compensation unless you do that. That's life insurance, I guess you could say. And also, we can't prevent disease with just nutrition. As much as I want that to be true, there is just so much that we can do with nutrition, even on the functional side. That's all I'm going to say.
The last component of our program is optimal energy. We don't just want to be healthy, we want to be vibrant. In the last decade, we've all been exposed to the dangers of the loaded sugars in our frappuccinos, energy drinks, and sodas. And sugar's been one of the leading contributors to the obesity epidemic, diabetes, and increased autoimmune issues. Did you know that sugar is as addictive to the brain as cocaine is?
He's making this too easy. Sir, do you honestly believe that sugar is just as addictive as cocaine? A study that is often referenced for that claim is because it lit up a certain part of the brain in a similar way that your brain lights up with cocaine. Now, what they fail to mention many times, most of the times, is that the brain also showed that lighting up area when you were listening to music that you enjoy. And like, what is the line between added sugars versus sugar that is in broccoli? Like, there are natural sugars in broccoli. There are those glucose molecules. When you break those carbs down into glucose, that is a sugar. And so where is the line? Like, you need to be more specific, and you can't just give out this flat, it's just as addictive as cocaine, because it is not. And it is more fear mongering. It is taking the study out of context. Ready for another break? Go grab that snack and we'll be back shortly.
Perhaps you've limited your sugary drink consumption. You've opted in for the better sugar-free options found in sodas and energy drinks. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but those could be just as bad. Did you know that aspartame?
And also, someone might, I don't want to negate somebody's feelings and how they feel that they might have this kind of affinity, or it might feel like they have an addiction to sugar. Typically, there are some reasons why that might be happening, and you don't have to like completely cut it out. Like, you can still have fruits and you can still have vegetables with sugar in them, and you can still work through those and continue to consume sugar. Glucose is sugar, without it relapsing you into the sugar addiction. Like, it is way more complicated than just saying that it is the same thing as a drug.
Which is a common artificial sweetener, is a neurotoxin that can harm your brain. Lastly, you may have just opted in for black coffee or teas. Well, there's something called adrenal fatigue, which is that feeling where you don't feel normal, not
He's giving me adrenal fatigue.
consuming caffeine. But when you do, your body's so depleted, you don't even feel energetic anymore. That's where this natural energy blend comes in. Rejuvenex is a combination of 6 anti-inflammatory superfruits like acai berry, noni berry, mangosteen, with something called nootropics, or nutrients that support brain function, like L-theanine. Simply take a couple of these capsules when you need a pick-me-up, and you have a sustained clean energy and mental alertness without the bad crashing calories. In this program's clinical trials, those that use the Rejuvenex also reported better mood, so we call this the happy pill. We then leave the best for last. MOA, the mother of all. Imagine you were to take a trip around the world and harvested 36 of the best superfoods and superfruits at clinical dosages and put them all in one convenient liquid pouch. That's MOA. It contains a black pepper seed called bioperine from India, which is known to help increase the absorption of all of your other nutrients in the body. There are 6 medicinal mushrooms, one specific called Maitake Gold from Japan, which costs more than gold. Maitake mushroom has been found to increase our body's natural illness fighting system, our white blood cells. Instead of buying those health shots from health drink stores that often contain only sprinkles of the ingredients, MOA will combat the afternoon slump, lower inflammation, even help with skin issues. Give MOA a shot. Both adults and children, they love this superfood on the go. Now, the biggest question you probably have is, well, how much does this all cost? Well, I have to pay an arm and a leg for this. Right off the bat, this program is not cheap, but
Remember what he said before?
we believe in premium quality without the premium price.
We believe in premium quality without the premium price.
I'm glad that it isn't, because would you really trust a cheap health product? We can go to cheap on material items like clothing, but our health is irreplaceable. My mentor once told me that the most expensive product is the one that doesn't work. So you can be rest assured that these products are safe and effective. That's why the company offers a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You can choose any of the products in any of the combinations, but let me share with you some of the common packages out there. Take some notes on what interests you and talk to the friend that shared with you this video for more information. If you're looking for a simple daily meal alternative, the power foods are a really popular option. For $7.29 a day, less than the typical meal, you get a complete balanced meal that's tasty and loaded with 2 pounds of veggies. Now, if you're looking for a simple energy solution, for less than a typical Frappuccino, you get the power combo of superfruits and superfood from the Rejuvenex and MOA for $5 a day. If you're looking for general nutritional support, for the same price as summer car insurance, you get your daily whole food, vitamins, minerals, and fish oil at a highest potency levels for $6.22 a day. If you're looking for a detox to reboot your metabolism, The beginner pack is for you. Perhaps you've been at a plateau and need that extra edge, or you've never considered a detox and would like to give that a shot. For $10 a day, you get a whole simple body reset for the month. Now, some of the most popular packs are the next two. The transformation pack is for those that want to detox, speed up fat loss, but also have the convenient power foods each day. An extra $7.50 a day will get you this, and you've simplified your daily regimen even more. Finally, if you're at a place where you just want to get the full benefits, maybe you're sick and tired or just have been feeling want a complete change, or you're the type that already loves feeding your body with nothing but the best and want to enhance that to the next level, the Clinical Plus pack is the combination of everything we've discussed today. For $10 more a day, not only to get to detox the body, have your daily power shake, but also feed your cells with the optimal nutrition and have the most powerful naturally energy blend out there. Clients that got the best results,
$725, $26 a day. It's not so much the price, it is the price, but it's not necessary, in my opinion.
Whether you decide on a package or any of the standalone products, we're so confident with the results you'll receive that if for whatever reason after 30 days you're not satisfied, there's a full 100% money back guarantee. We know this will work for you and can't wait to be celebrating your success.
I don't know, that sounds like a claim. We know this can work for you. Like, that's a little sketchy.
Our own health transformation is not just for ourselves, but it's for those around us. My question to you is, whose lives will be better when you decide to become better?
This is what ropes so many people in, that kind of feeling. They want to help people. They want to help their loved ones and their family, their friends. And so putting that idea into their mind after all of this is a very good way of selling it, but it is very manipulative. I feel bad for people who are sucked into these because they want to help other people, especially like putting this at the end, like it's just tugging on your heartstrings, which is, in my opinion, not a very, I would not feel comfortable selling in this way. I'll just say that.
As we strive to be a level 10 on our health spectrum, you never know who you will inspire and impact. On a final note, know that these products are amazing tools and will help in the transition to healthier lifestyle, but they're not miraculous. We do need to put in some work. We do need to make some positive changes, and to make any change, I know can be tough. And that's why if you decide to hop on this program, we have a whole community behind you. We'll give regular coaching calls, content education, 24/7 access to a community of people that are just like you.
What is content education?
People who aspire to be the best versions of themselves, all for free, because we're committed to helping you succeed. Whether this program is for you or not, or it's for someone around you, I wanted to thank you for spending some of your value time with me today.
We're done with that, but I did want to talk about the diet very briefly. So there is 3 phases to the diet. There is the preparation phase, there is the fat burning phase, that's phase 2, and then there is the maintenance phase, phase 3. And I'm just gonna read it out so that nobody says that, I'm putting my own spin on things or anything. So the preparation phase is a simple phase. It lasts only 2 days, and you begin by taking the ARIIX and the Accelerate drops as directed, and then you eat normally, but without any fast food, they say. And during the first phase, it is important to rid your body of unwanted toxins. Consider taking ARIIX as a natural detox supplement to help aid your body in removing toxins. And they say that maintaining proper nutrition levels while reducing caloric intake is very important. By taking Nutrify Optimals, Omega Q, and Rejuvenix, you can provide your body with the optimal nutrition levels for proper cellular function and energy to keep your metabolism up. On the PDF, they say to cut out fast food and junk food and to go through your cupboards and toss out cookies, pastries, candies, processed meats, potato chips, soda, high sodium frozen foods, boxed foods, canned soups. If you have some canned soups on hand or anything like that, you might still want to save it just in case you can't go out. I always think at the very beginning of the pandemic, pandemic, those foods, it is okay to keep them on hand. They're not the most nutrient dense, but I have some of those kind of foods on hand. I don't consume them very often, but building a healthy relationship with food, you are able to have those on hand and not have you eat them all the time. Like, that's part of building that healthy relationship with food. And I know if somebody's just starting this and they might not have that and they need to work through that, but still, I am really not comfortable with the idea of just like throwing everything away. That's a personal opinion though. I don't know. Okay, so then phase 2 is a fat burning phase, because of course it's called fat burning. Day 3 marks the beginning of fat burning phase, and depending on the desired amount of weight loss, this period can last anywhere from 1 to 6 months. Continue taking SlenderX and Accelerate drops as directed, and begin tracking the foods you eat from the approved food list. You're consuming 1,250 calories each day and starting to drink 10 8-ounce glasses of water, purified water, using their water filter. And then when you have reached your weight loss goal, it's time to move into phase 3. And at that phase 2, we're still there. It's important to keep track of your daily intake of food and beverages. And they say if your body feels full, you do not need to hit the 1,250 calorie mark, which I feel is dangerous, because sometimes when we are not hungry and we're consuming that little, that means your metabolism is slowing down, which is not what you want, what you want to experience. So I would say even if your body feels full, at least try to get the 1,250 calorie amount. It's not appropriate in my opinion. And then each day eat 3 regular healthy meals with foods only from the approved food list. And if you prefer, you can choose to spread those out for smaller meals into snacks. And then from there you go into maintenance phase. And they say after reaching your weight loss goal, it's time to enter the maintenance phase by gradually adding limited glycemic products back into your diet. It is important to continue eating a balanced diet of fresh, clean foods with regular exercise. The maintenance phase is a lifestyle that it's not a lifestyle. It's a diet still that must be properly adhered to in order to prevent returning back to an unhealthy weight. So much to unpack there. Briefly though, I'm not sure what they mean by glycemic products. Glycemic index is a way of ranking foods, carbohydrate foods, and how they impact your blood sugar levels in relation to actual pure glucose and what that would impact, how that would impact your blood sugar levels. And I'm looking at the approved list again, like there are glucose containing foods on here. So you're introducing glycemic foods, you already have some glycemic foods. Like, it's just, in my opinion, meaningless jargon meant to sound more fancy, and it's just not necessary. They say to stay wary of processed foods, slowly add whole grains, sweet potatoes, and or red potatoes back into your diet and continue to limit them. So code word for it's not a lifestyle, it's a diet. Keep healthy with the products, their products. It's not maintenance if it's still a diet. Let me know in the comments if you think that this is maintenance, if this means maintenance to you, if you would like to be on this for maintaining any kind of weight loss that you achieve. Like, even if you think about it, you know, not from this company or anything, like if you follow this plan, does that maintenance seem like a lifestyle, or does that still seem like a diet to you? Let me know in the comments. So as we wrap up, just as I said in the beginning, if you stayed with me for this long, if you can afford these products, then I would spend that money on actual food, high quality food, and get those those benefits that you would receive from these products. Get those benefits from food. Long-term maintenance should look like what you can purchase at a grocery store. So that's it. Please, this video took a long time. Leave a like, be sure you're subscribed, leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts about this company, these brands, if you've ever heard of them, if you think that we will start to hear about them, let me know your thoughts on that. As always, if you have a nutrition related MLM story that you would like me to share, feel free to email me at callingoutbodyshame@gmail.com. Be sure to let me know if you want to remain anonymous or not. Thanks for watching, and remember, you can strive for health without subscribing to diet culture. All right, bye.